Well, hey everybody, thank you so much for your help with the PSAT 10 this spring. I just want to quickly go over a few things relative to ensuring everything is explained to you all and is ready for our students. So a few logistical things. There'll be some coffee in the staff caf. Standard time materials will be in the staff cafeteria or the extension just off to the side there. And then special service materials will be in room 220. I believe if your name is highlighted in green for standard time materials, you need to come down to the cafeteria to pick them up. Everyone, of course, can grab some coffee, but if you're in green, please come and pick up your materials. Materials should be picked up at 8:15 by the latest. Try to pick up by 8 if you can. Certainly, if you need to switch with someone, if you've got drop-off things going on with children, I totally get it. Please do whatever you need, or let Suzanne and I know if you need any support. Of course, whenever you start your day, if that starts way earlier, then work your 8 hours, flex your time at the end. Please do whatever makes sense for you on this day and your family. Once you meet your team and get to your room, hopefully some of the desks are already facing the clock on the whiteboard. We will send a reminder, or we sent a reminder the day before the test or the week of the test to say, hey, every room is in use. If your 7th or 8th hour students could move desks into rows, it really makes this day just a little bit easier for the people assigned to your room. So hopefully the desks are in rows. If they're not, please go ahead and put them facing the clock and whiteboard if possible. Rooms should be ready to accept students by 8:45. If you're ready prior to then, start checking them in. That's great. And the following things kind of get written on the whiteboard at the front of the room. They're on your cheat sheet, but again, you'll list our AI code, which is the AI code, which is 144214. All of this is in your cheat sheet, and some of the things that need to be coded, including the or bubbled in for the students, which is all in your cheat sheet and in your instructions. When your team assembles, don't forget to sign this testing staff agreement, which basically this is, yes, I don't have a kid taking the test, or at least the PSAT 10. I haven't been around the materials prior. I'm not giving the answers to kids. I'm not doing PSAT paid tutoring outside, fill in the blank. So just making sure they know who was doing this on the day. Prior to the testing, your students will come into the room. You can ask for their ID. That's totally fine. Technically, they don't need it for their home school, but you could have them let you know who they are, check them off as they come in. The other person can walk them to their seat. Again, students cannot select their own seats. My suggestion, while the test booklets should not be distributed prior to kids coming in, if you want to have their answer sheets already laid out on the desk so that students know their assigned seat as you bring them in, that's totally fine. Again, their answer sheets will have labels, and we'll get to that. So you kind of can set up your seating chart prior to students coming in. As students are coming in, a reminder that there are no anything that can communicate, phones, Apple Watches, etc. No one should be using those during this test. So please have them turn them down, power them off, etc. You can have them put them at the front of the room, whatever makes sense for you. Let's see here. So the pre-administrative tasks, every label has every answer sheet has a label, including the student's name and their state ID number. Yes, for whatever reason, College Board still makes us bubble in some of the fields, but we're just doing the bare minimum. That should be pretty fast. So a couple quick things. When you bubble in the ID number, it is the 9-digit state ID number, which is located in the upper left-hand corner of the student's label. It is not the barcode, this random other number down here in the lower right. Please ensure students are bubbling in their state ID number here in the upper left. And then just a quick reminder, and we started talking about this last year, but students that answer labels have their name and gender that the state of Illinois has. And so sometimes students have made changes on our PowerSchool system or with you directly that they may not have requested legal name changes or other changes at the state level. And so for students that we want to give a heads up to, counselors and social workers have already done that and given them a heads up that their name on their label may be different than what they use here at Vernon Hills or have in PowerSchool or as you know them by. What we will encourage the students to do is to bubble in the name that is on their label, because if they create duplicate College Board accounts, it becomes a really big headache for them. It's much easier for us to call and say, hey, we have a name change. Hey, can you please update my account, fill in the blank, than it is for College Board to suddenly have data with the same ID number and multiple names and genders. It becomes very complicated, and it's unfortunately a problem that we as a school can't solve for the student, only the family can. So again, we will give them a heads up, but we will encourage the student to use their gender and the name that is listed on their label. Before testing, just a couple quick reminders. Please fill out the attendance sheet. You can bring that to me or the nearest kind of coordinator in your area. Yes, Deanne is back for the special day. She loves it so much. She couldn't get enough. Abby will be floating around for part of the test, but once you get to section 1 or prior to section 1, we will take your list of P's and A's for who came, so we can start to reconcile our attendance for the day. Again, students don't technically have to have their ID. If you want to have their ID out, if you want to check in Power School, that's totally fine. If you want to have their ID out and on their desk, that's fine. That's great practice as we head and they march towards the SAT, or identification is very important. Again, we've talked about students not selecting their own seats, removal of watches, and anything that can communicate. Students can come into your testing room up until you say start for section 1. So even if a kid's 5, 10, 15 minutes late, if you're still doing the pre-administrative tasks, you can let them in. I'm going the wrong direction. That's why you've already seen that, and why I talked about it twice. Okay, it's too early in the morning. The back of their answer sheet, there are 4 things that they'll do along with the certification statement. The form code, test ID, testing room code is up on the board, but the form code and test ID is on the back of their testing manual. So again, you're doing this once you've distributed the testing booklet. That's right in your script. The serial number is on the front of their test booklet, near or underneath or above the barcode. It changes all the time if it's in the upper right or the lower right, but it's the barcode on their testing booklet. It's unique to the testing booklet that student has. So please ensure students are bubbling in the serial ID number from their unique testing booklet, which will be located again on the front of their unique testing booklet. In terms of the seating chart, when you distribute the testing booklets, which will have been done prior to that back part of their answer sheet, because they need the information on their unique testing booklet, you're going to distribute in that snaking serpentine pattern. And again, you're not writing the names of students down for the seating chart. You're writing that serial number, which is on the front of that testing booklet. So again, here's where the kids will bubble it on their answer sheet, and you will write it on your seating chart when you submit your materials at the end. This is one of the things that we will keep in case there's any discrepancies or issues with students' answers. During testing, your actual testing script begins on page 73. There's a pre-test script that will start just prior. Suzanne's been magical in only giving you the abbreviated version of this very lengthy document so that you don't have too many things to look through. Again, please record your start and stop times, and then you'll bring us your attendance sheet. Snacks. Please keep water and anything else really underneath their desk that shouldn't be out on their desk. Snacks should be eaten in the hallway. Students will have sort of designated restrooms to use. Most importantly, please be active during the breaks. Please, while you can't leave your room, if you're the only one there and there are testing materials in the room and kids are in the room, being able to stand at the doorway. If you see your students who are kind of milling about outside of your door and bringing them back in, we want to keep the hallway as quiet as possible because we all break at different times. And so it just becomes super disruptive when students are standing out for a lengthy period of time chatting rather than taking their break, standing up, and then coming back into the room. They can still talk and stand and stretch once they get back into your room. But the quicker we can do that, the better. Again, please ensure students are never left alone with testing materials in the room. Only one of you needs to be there during the test. So you can coordinate breaks together. Certainly for the distribution and collection of materials, it's best if you're both there. But during the test, one of you can go somewhere quietly to work. Irregularities, in the event that you have an irregularity, just document what you said, when you said it, and what the student's response was. Whether that's a cell phone issue, a cheating issue, whatever. We don't just dismiss the kid in the middle of it or cause a scene. Don't get into a back and forth with a kid. Address what you see. Ask them to, stop bubbling if they went back. Put their cell phone away. Turn off their cell. Whatever happens, note the student's response and what they do, and when it occurred and for how long it occurred, and then we will address it. Get a hold of me, get a hold of Abby or Deanne, who can get a hold of me, and we'll address it at the end of that test section on how we want to handle it. If we do dismiss a kid, we never want them just to leave the building. We want them to go down to the LST, and then Bill, Madeline, or Evelina will work with the student and call mom and dad, make sure they're aware of what happened, and then get them home safely. If there's a fire alarm, good Lord, just get the kids out safely. We'll bring your attendance sheet back to you to reconcile. The most important thing you can do in the event of something loud like that and that you have to leave, they just really care about, they being the College Board, that kids don't have too much or too little time. So they'll likely still score the test. You just need to note how far into the test section that you were so that we get the right timing on the back end. Again, you won't fill out any irregularity official documentation with the College Board until you're with me. So we'll move over your notes from what occurred onto the official paperwork and submit that together. After testing, this is super important. You can dismiss your testing room individually so long as the clock says 12:20. Please do not dismiss your room prior to 12:20. Please don't let it be a free-for-all prior to 12:20 if you're done and materials are collected, because the room next to you is likely still testing. This test materials form needs to be completed by the room supervisor and proctors in the room, and it asks you to do a few things. Note which serial numbers you used, note the quantities. Please ensure you separated your used and unused answer sheets, and that the separate pile that is used matches the number and the serial numbers that you've listed in ranges and your counts for used materials on your reconciliation form. Make sure again that you have completed your serial chart with serial numbers, your seating chart with serial numbers, and that you've signed that testing staff agreement. We will be down in 1516. We will be on the other end of the building, unfortunately, just because that's the easiest place to sort of reconcile 3 grade levels of tests. Only one of you need to return it, and we'll do that as quickly as possible when we collect your information. At this point, that's pretty much everything. If you have other questions or things come up, please don't hesitate to ask. There's not a bad question. I get that you see this once a year, and so we've been living in this and usually know the answer, but I get that there's a lot of details here. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate to ask. We really appreciate your help. This is one of the last practice tests prior to the SAT, and so while it's not a college reportable score, you would be surprised at how many parents and students await this score to see kind of where they're at prior to the NMSQT and their students' SAT opportunity next year. So again, we appreciate your time on this day. Let us know if you need anything. Thank you so much.